Welcome to Wall Street Sizing Up. We're back. It is 2021. We're sponsored by StockTrade.tips. That's StockTrade.tips. We're also operated by them as well. But today let's talk about price predictions. Let's talk about 2021 price predictions. Let's talk about 2021 Bitcoin price predictions. If you watched the last video, should you invest in stocks at an all-time high? We also talked about other assets, right? And essentially, all-time highs beget all-time highs. We talked about the science behind that, right? So today, we're going to talk about the price predictions of 2021 for Bitcoin. As I sit here today, it is January 7th. Bitcoin has just hit an all-time high of 40,000. It just dumped down to about 38.2, and now it's climbing back. I'm sure there was a lot of profit taking, probably automated profit taking at that point. So we're going to talk about not just the investment banks and what they're seeing for the predictions of 2021 and the Bitcoin price, but also the prominent individuals in the crypto community and what their predictions are and who keeps getting it right. It's going to be great. Last thing, we are sponsored by StockTrade.tips. They have one goal, and that is to help you profit off the insider knowledge of the hedge funds, and they do it through SMS direct alerts to you, to your phone, with analysis. So with that said, let's do what we came here to do. Let's talk a little price predictions for 2021 for Bitcoin. Jake hit the theme, and we are going to hit the casino. Let's go. And we are off, knowing that Bitcoin is literally a non-sovereign, hard cap, supply, global, immutable, decentralized store of value that is essentially an insurance policy against the central bankers making the money printer go burr. That's what Bitcoin is, right? A lot of times you'll hear them talk about stock to flow model, right? A lot of these predictions for not just the crypto personalities and the crypto bulls, but for the banks as well. They use a stock to flow model on the screen, right? And basically what this implies, let me just read this to you if you didn't know. So I'm sure you've seen this before, right? In fact, right now, if you were to look at this in 2025, 2026, it has Bitcoin hitting $1 million price point. Damn! Guys, that's incredible. This model treats Bitcoin as being a comparable to commodities such as gold and silver and platinum. These are known as store value. We obviously know that because they can retain value over the long time frames due to their relative scarcity. Stock to flow ratios are used to evaluate the current stock of a commodity, the total amount currently available against the flow of the new production amount that's going to be mined in that specific year. For a store of value commodities like gold, like Bitcoin, a high ratio indicates that they must not be consumed in industrial applications. Instead, the majority is stored as a monetary hedge, thus driving up the stock to flow ratio. A higher ratio indicates that the commodity is increasingly scarce and therefore more value. And that is why you see Bitcoin following this stock to flow line almost to a T. That is crazy. Now, the other valuation model that you're going to see is called the MVRV Z-score, right? I'm not going to break into this much. I'm going to tell you what it's about, but essentially all it talks about is in this red part, that's where Bitcoin becomes, there is an oversupply, it's been overbought, right? And you can look for a downturn. What they specifically say about it, the MVRV Z-score uses blockchain analysis to identify periods where Bitcoin is extremely over or undervalued relative to its fair value. The MVRV Z-score has historically been very effective in identifying periods where the market value is moving unusually high above realized value. These periods are highlighted by the Z-score in the red line. Entering the pink box, it indicates the top of the market cycle. It has been able to pick the market high of each cycle within 2 weeks. It also shows when the market value is far below realized value, highlighting by the Z-score, entering the green box. Buying Bitcoin during these periods has historically produced outside returns. So if we look back at it, right, if you buy in the green, good. If you buy in the red, watch out. That's all they're saying. It's right there. It's a little bit below a 6, right? And so you've got about a 2 or 3x is basically how I understand this in the price. That's how I understand it. If you have a different view, please let me know in the comments. So let's get to the predictions.
The drugs are in a location. I see the color blue.
She sees blue.
And yellow.
So Coin Market Cap had these predictions. Now, these aren't price predictions, but these are what's going to happen industry-wide. And a lot of you guys know this. They did a study, and 52% warn that we could see a BTC lose more than half its value in a short space of time in 2021. I think we all knew that. You know who Jimmy Song is? He's a crypto personality. He's extremely smart, great follow on Twitter. Was quoted as saying, this has happened in 2017, 2013, twice, and 2011. So why would it not happen again? So you need to watch out for that. And that goes back to the MVRV Z-score. So you need to keep an eye on this, because look at 2017, look at the twice in 2013. You see when it gets into this red and upwards of the pink there, that is when it retraced, and it retraced in a big way. All right. The other response, the 58%, believe that in this finder.com poll, BTC will continue to surge until the second half of 2021. Again, keep your eye on the MVRV. Will Bitcoin continue to threaten gold? Absolutely. Right now, we are seeing the outflows of gold, right? The outflow of cash out of gold and into Bitcoin. That's exactly what we're seeing. And that's why Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss, the Winklevoss twins, repeatedly set out the case for Bitcoin at some point hitting $500,000. That is crazy to say. Yes, could it hit zero? I think with more institutional capital coming in, and it's coming in every day. Three Rivers just went nuts with Coinbase. Nobody knows how much they bought, but it is a sizable amount, and that's what has pushed us. I believe today we hit an all-time high of 40,000. It dumped back down to about 37, 38, and now it's back on its way up. So that was probably because that is clearly a milestone number, and there was probably some selling that was triggered. Will BTC double again? Well, yes. Here's what, if you know who Mike Novogratz is, in a tweet storm, he asserted that his price target this year is about 65,000 is a realistic price target for Bitcoin in 2021. Here's the stock to flow forecast. Will it be right? Plan B, which I just showed you. The analysts believe that Bitcoin is comfortably on track to exceed 100,000 by December 21st. So if we look at stock to flow, the 21st, it's got it right under 100,000 is where the stock to flow is, right? You're looking at, God, so just in 2021, it's got it right at 100,000 on the stock to flow model, right? So will big banks jump in? Yes, it's just the beginning. As I was going to tell you, Citibank suggests that Bitcoin could surge to $318,000 in December of 2021. That's this year, guys. $318,000. Now that's just one bank, but clearly, banks do not, and analysts do not want to overshoot, and they want to be approximately right. Will regulations be in sharp focus? Absolutely, which could cause the price to fluctuate downwards. Regulation can be good.
And having my judgment mocked in my own court is not something I'm prepared to tolerate.
Well, maybe you can tell that to the kids when they're adopted. By the Manson family!
I think it will be good. I think it needs to happen. But will it hurt the markets in the short term? That's probably what it will do. Cryptocurrency will get taxed. Yes, it is now on your personal tax return at the very top. You have to check you own, and they're going to expect to see some assets probably on your tax return, especially if you bought and sold. More so sold, right? But it is going to happen. Here's Bloomberg Intelligence. The Bloomberg Intelligence analyst on crypto. His name is Mike McGlone. He argues that 50,000 is a good 2021 target resistance, a milestone that would result in an overall market cap of $1 trillion. We're $10,000 per Bitcoin away from $1 trillion market cap. So let's jump into the price predictions. I'm going to start with the banks, right? JP Morgan strategists predict it could rise to $146,000 in 2021. A strategist named Nick P. wrote in a note on Monday that competing with gold for the investment flows would see Bitcoin's market capitalization rise to more than $2.5 trillion over the long term. But in 2021, 146 is their price target. We just talked about Citibank and their 318,300,000 in 2021. That is crazy. Andy Edstrom, I don't know if you don't know who he is. He's a wealth manager out of California. He's with the advisory firm called Westcap. He is saying by 2030, $8 trillion market cap, which would put it at around $340,000 from where we are now. Price target of $340,000 in essentially 9 years. He likens it to gold.
Why don't you just worry about yourself and leave the prospecting up to old Gus Chickens?
Approximate size of the gold market. In any case, he would put the price of a single coin from $300,000 to $400,000. And he actually believes that it could be the world's default currency. Not so sure about that. Next up is John Pfeiffer. John Pfeiffer is a partner at the London-based family office of Pfeiffer Capital. He, for 2021, exact target of 90,000. He set a bold price target for Bitcoin of 700,000 in 10 years. That is good to hear. We also have the Sadis Group. Now, if you probably heard of the Sadis Group, they're ICO advisory group, right? Back in the day, but they're still around. They're putting a price target by 2023 of $96,000. Now, they made that prediction in August of 2018. So that is accelerating. So they're probably not too far off. But by 2023, it could be well past that. Who knows, though, right? Again, you got to take these with a grain of salt, but it is good to see these banks and investment banks and these institutions all jumping in because they all see something that the Bitcoin bulls see. We laid out the two models that they look at, right? And we've laid out that the gold outflows and the Bitcoin inflows. And that's exactly what's happening. Now, we all know Tim Draper. I know Tim Draper. He has a price target of 250,000 by 2022, right? I remember when this guy was buying the 3 tranches of 20,000 Bitcoins from the Silk Road from the feds at $500, which became the start of Coinbase, right? Next, I think you'll recognize this name, Chamath Palihapitiya. He has a price target in 2037 of $1 million. Consequently, Mark Cuban just tweeted yesterday that if it hits $1 million and on the on the stock to flow model, this has it hitting in mid 2025 $1 million. If you're still on the stock to flow, if you follow the stock to flow model, it will hit $1 million in 2025. And guess what? Mark Cuban has said, hey, if it hits $1 million, I'll run for president. We'll hold you to it, Mark.
How do you guys know each other?
Doug came on Shark Tank to pitch his idea for the smush shush.
If you don't know who Chamath is, you really should. He's a good follow on Twitter. He's with Facebook. He founded Social Capital. He now owns the Golden State Warriors. At one time, he actually held 5%, I believe 5% of all of the Bitcoin in circulation. It was crazy. Very, very wealthy man, but it's self-made. Next up is Adam Back. He's the CEO of Blockstream. He's putting it at 300,000. He says over the next several years is his price target. Wences Casares, CEO of Zappo, we know them very well. He is saying $1 million by 2027. Clearly, that stock to flow is what he's looking at there. Jeremy Liu, 500,000 by 2030 is what he's saying. He is, you probably heard of him. He's got like this little app called Snapchat that he sold out of, and actually it went public. But he also has Ledger X wallet as well. He's worth about $2 billion. So he's got 500,000 by 2030. Lou Kerner, I don't know if you know who he is, but he is CEO of the venture capital of Crypto Oracle. I believe he was with Lightspeed, though, is where I've heard that name before. But anyway, he's with Crypto Oracle in 2021. In 2018, he thought that price target of Bitcoin would hit about 100,000 in 34 years. So he's pretty much, it looks like he could be spot on. We'll see. Mark Yusko, 400. He's got a $400,000 price target. He's from Morgan Creek, but that is for. There was no date set for that, but clearly he knows his stuff, and I trust Mark. That's probably 35 years away from what I think that he is saying here. In January of 2020, BitPay predicted that it would pass 20,000. Didn't exactly hit, but executive Sonny Syme said that it would definitely rise above 20,000 in 2020. So he was exactly right. He's not giving a price target here, which is I thought he would. Roger Ver, 250,000 is his price target, but there is no date for that. We all know who he is. Anthony Pompliano, we know who he is. He has put a price target on it, and here you go. Let's hold him to it. $100,000 is his price target for 2021. As you know, him and Yusko are tied at the hip. They are in Morgan Creek Digital, and Pomp has one of the probably the best crypto podcast going right now. I'm sure you guys all know him. You might not know this guy, Tom Lee. So Tom Lee runs what is called Fundstrat. Now, Fundstrat it's literally, they're a global advisory firm for stocks, for bonds, but he's a Bitcoin bull. He worked for JP Morgan for like 20 years. He headed up the telecommunications side, and then he started his own firm, Fundstrat. Here's what he's got. By 2022, he's got $125,000 price target on Bitcoin. And I would tell you about Tom. Tom's been right on sometimes, and other time he's missed. He hadn't missed by much. By the way, going back to our buddy Draper, hit the 10,000. He hit it to the day that Bitcoin hit $10,000. So what Draper said of his 250 by 2022, probably a pretty good bet. Novagrass, we talked about him. He thinks by 2029, 300,000 is his price target. Winklevoss, we talked about them. They think by 2028, we got a $5 trillion market cap, $278,000 price target. John McAfee, we all love him. He's funny. We get it. He was going to eat his own D if it didn't hit 500,000 by 2020. Guess what? It didn't. He's in prison. I don't know if he still got it. Somebody hit me up in the comments and let me know what's going on with him. Really didn't want to end on him. I will tell you this. Rand Nooner is a host of CNBC. Show called Crypto Trader. It may or may not be on right now. He was considered, like 2 years ago, the 28th most influential blockchain insider. He claimed Bitcoin would end in 2018 at 50,000. He was a little early, but I think that he'll get it right this year. for sure. So here's my prediction. I clearly hold no weight. I clearly just look at charts. I look at price targets, but I think there's something more here, right? So from when I started to look at this on like the 23rd of December, like what is my prediction going to be, right? Well, since then it's gone up 50%, like approximately 50%, right? To like 39.1, and then today it hit 40,000. So it's just going nuts, right? And so I've known about Bitcoin since 2012. I've been in it since 2015. Wish I'd have bought more. We all do, right? But here's the thing. I think this is my reasoning behind it. Due to the extreme strong reflexive price action that we're seeing, and we're seeing unprecedented scarcity, there is a lot of buy side pressure and not a whole lot of sell side pressure, right? The demand is far more than the supply, especially with the institutions, right? And I think that when we're seeing this, though it's not overbought yet, it starts a retail FOMO. And I think that's what we're seeing. And then I think that there is something else that we need to take into account, and that is phobia, fear of being an idiot for not at least buying some of a Bitcoin, right? Like last time I looked, like 0.05 of a Bitcoin was worth like $3,000. I mean, it's crazy, right? So buy as much as you can. I'm not saying do it now. Do it when you feel most comfortable. But I think fear of being an idiot and fear of missing out are very real fears, right? So this is why we believe the bull cycle will see Bitcoin trade at a huge premium, which it has every bull cycle, right? Relative to its fair value. And when we reference back to the stock to flow model, we see it at exactly $87,000. About $87,874 is where I put the exact number on it, right? So before the end of 2021, I am calling $87,874.
That's a 10.
I hope some of you out there will not forget this and let me know if my prediction was correct. I will say this too. I do own a lot of crap coins. I do own some altcoins, and then I own ETH. I don't think ETH is a crap coin at all. I think it's a very, very good coin to own. It's literally got its own economy with the smart contracts. I get it. With the trading view and what I'm seeing there on the various models, I think it hits 1800 for sure. I probably think it goes past there. That's where I think ETH will be by the end of 2021, at least at 1800. Well, I think 1800, now that I see what's going on today, is probably low because I believe it's right at 13. So it's probably 2000 plus, but I'm going to put it at 1800. That's just what I see on the models and the trading view that I use. So I hope this helps, guys. I hope this gives you confidence to go out and invest in Bitcoin. I wouldn't bet the house. What do they say? Only bet what you can afford to lose. I think it going to zero is not probable in the least bit, especially with the institutions. And knowing what I know about trading, if it starts to really, really fall, you'll dump out. It's those hard hands. Some of us were there in March of 2020 when it hit 4,000. Stayed with it. So with that said, guys, I hope this helps. Let me know what you think in the comments. Love you guys. Watch your six. Go hard in the paint. Cheers. We'll see you next time. Well, good day, good evening, and whatever time it may be. We hope you enjoyed that video as much as we enjoyed making it. Please hit the like or the subscribe or leave a comment because we love that feedback. And you know what we say. At the casino, you got to watch your six and you go hard in the paint, guys. Cheers. We'll see you next time.